We're going to talk a little bit, among other things, about the relationship between the city and the chamber through the process of the survey and other things. And I hope through the process of this, including the fact that we had 3 councilmen here this morning, you'll understand that it's a robust relationship that's only going to get better over time. Now, it is an election year. You probably have noticed that. You watch the TV, you've seen all the debates, it's been all the drama. The ultimate reality show is on every night when it comes to what's going on in the GOP and so forth. And it seems like most of the discussion that we're looking at this year's election year, which is not unusual, is the fact that there's basically 2 camps. You've got the camp that believe that government is responsible for business growth and economic growth. Then you've got the camp that believes the private sector is responsible for business and economic growth. Now my guess is in this part of the country, most of us, at least philosophically, land in the latter. Most of us want government out of the way. Most of us want and believe that we need to take ownership of our own businesses, myself included, and make sure and take responsibility for profit and loss and get government out of the way. Philosophically, that's where we all are. We're going to talk about the survey results here because the reality here is all government and all politics is local. What I'm hoping to point out here as we discuss how we're going to go forward between the city and the chamber, our relationship in the future, is maybe some clarity as far as making sure we understand what it means for the government to have a relationship with the chamber of business and vice versa. I think you're going to like what you hear. But if we have some time afterwards, I've got Ken back here timing to make sure I don't talk too long, which I tend to do. My position here, when it comes to that discussion, is whether government is responsible or private sector is responsible. It's really 2 sides of the same coin. Different roles altogether to make sure that there's success on the economic front. Let's talk about the role of the city when it comes to business. I want to talk about 2 concepts. One is what I call cake, the other is the icing. The cake, the basic, bottom line job of the city is twofold. Number 1, our job is to make sure everybody plays nice. If there's a situation where a business is doing something wrong, something that's going to unfairly hurt someone else, not competition so much, it's just doing something that's going to unfairly hurt someone else. Our job as a city, as a government, is to stop that. So it's fair. As much as possible, keep the field level. The second job that we have is then to get out of your way. What happens too many times when the government feels like they're responsible for your success is that we start coming up with all these rules and these regulations and bailouts and all of these other things that go on. And in the process of, I believe, folks trying to do a good thing end up getting in the way of success. Because it ties too many hands, and that's what's going on in California in a big way. Once again, we talk about California, but when we talk about Murrieta, that's more local, and it's just where we live. That's just the cake. That is basic responsibility of government, is first of all, make sure we all play nice, and second of all, then get out of the way as best we can. The icing, which, you know, the cake isn't any good unless it has icing. The icing of that fact is what Murrieta is doing on top of that. We're working very hard to attract new business. We want to attract those new businesses so that we can grow the economy locally. We're working very hard to expand your market areas, both domestically and internationally. We discovered in the process of being pretty successful at that, of expanding those market areas, that the problem became subsequently that while we were creating great massive markets internationally for you, there wasn't any financing locally for you to expand your business so you could take advantage of it. So we added to that icing the opportunity to increase the availability of financing in one way, shape, or form, whether it be FI funds or whatever else. And Bruce Coleman and his team are working very hard to connect folks to financing so they can grow their businesses so they can take advantage of the markets that the city's trying to bring your way. And then we have all kinds of business development resources. I mean, one, for example, if those of you who are a small business and you need help with marketing, you've got one of the foremost experts in marketing at your beck and call. You did on her calendar. Ms. Kim. She'll help you and she'll talk you through that. as far as how to better market your business. These are all things that are the icing. They're on top of making sure everybody plays nice and getting out of your way. Now let's talk about the role of the chamber. This is my philosophy of the chamber. I've been involved in chambers all of my business life. And as I look at the chamber, the number one role of the chamber is to advocate for the best interests of their business members. Period. You as a chamber have in this group an advocacy to the point where if, for instance, government is getting in your way, you have a group to talk to help get government out of the way. And so in that sense, and because of that, it is important that there is a certain amount of separate identity. It doesn't mean we can't partner. Let's get down to the next section. I'm going to take them a little bit out of order. I want to start with the section, what I would call, falls under the category of cake. The suggestion that was made, and I'll read it here. The city does a great job streamlining large projects. Could be better smaller projects. True. We work very hard to put together what we call our Fast Track program. The Fast Track program is designed for businesses that are very large, that qualify under certain criteria for us to move them through a red team process to make sure that they are able to get through quicker. Because time is money. And these larger businesses can probably go anywhere, so we need to be enticing them to the fact that we can get things done right away. So that's true, yeah, we're pretty good with the larger businesses, but the smaller businesses, that's where the discussion needs to be had. I think that's a valid point. I don't know who put that on the survey, but maybe we need to look again at how we process the smaller businesses. Once again, if there's an area, and the criteria is simple, if you come to us and say, this requirement is onerous, and we as a city can't say why we have the requirement in the context of, if we didn't have the requirement, you would hurt them. If we can't say that, then we need to question why we have the requirement. In many cases, we don't know it's an issue unless you talk to us. So it's really important in that context, under this first suggestion, that, okay, let's have that discussion. Let us know about those things. And like I said, if we can't answer it appropriately, then I can guarantee you, this council, our policy is one of our two main controls, economic development. If there's not a good reason for it, then they won't do it. There's a couple things here that I have to put into the category of the icing. Remember, our job is to make sure everybody plays nice and then do our best to get out of your way. But there's some icing things there that we do to help your businesses grow. Because the bottom line is, when you're successful, so is the city. It works together. There's a couple of things here on that list that I put in that. One was develop historic downtown Murrieta, develop a triangle, and make Loma Linda the hub of healthcare activity. I love all that. I think that's all very good. But is it the job of the city to develop downtown? Do we own that property? No. Is it the job of the city to develop the triangle? Do we own that property? No. Whose job is it? The people who own the property. It's their business. Now the job of the city is to make sure they play nice and get out of their way as best we can. If we can help the process, great, but it's not the job of the city to do those things. And so it's very clear as we deal with the chamber as well, is understanding the context of what we as a city are supposed to do, because you do not want us in your business. You don't want government in your business. You want government to make sure everybody plays nice and then to get out of the way, period. So when it comes to the icing, the bottom line is the best we're doing, and the best we can do, and the best we should do. With those things, those examples, and anything else, is to do what Forbes magazine says Murrieta is the best city in the country at doing. Forbes magazine a couple of years ago said that Murrieta will be the #1 city in the nation coming out of the recession. And why do they say that? Because we're so stable, good, and set the table. That's what we have been doing for years, and we are continuing to do. And that's what we will do with the Triangle. That's what we'll do with downtown and Loma Linda, and on the list goes. Is that we will continue to help set the table for success for you. Whether it's the Triangle or anything else, that is our job, is to set that table, and that's what we're doing, which is why we have an entire department devoted just to economic development. And Kim is here to represent that as well. That is what is so important. That's what the city is all about, to help make those things happen. Now, under general suggestions, we get to There are a lot of similarities between the two cities. In fact, at one point it was going to be one big city, way back then. And the powers that be, the city fathers of Murrieta said, I don't think so. And that's when the incorporation happened from Murrieta. But the reality of it is that it's very, very similar. In fact, we are the twin cities. We market us that way, we are branded that way because of those similarities and because we basically define Southwest California, Southwest County. But we're not identical. We work together as the twin cities, but I can guarantee you we'll never be Temecula because our sites are a little higher than that. They've done a great job. My hat is off to our colleagues in South Murrieta here. They really have done a great job. But our goal is that Murrieta will be the future of Southern California. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a bit. Where it makes sense for us to work with Temecula, we're going to do it. I mean, it just makes sense. But where it don't, we won't. So, I don't believe there's really any serious concern about us becoming another Temecula. Our goal is to become the leading city in Southern California, and that needs our sites. Right now is our state of the city coming up March the 1st. You got to go. You got to be there. You got to be part of it. It's going to start with receptions, a VIP reception, as well as dinner reception at 4 o'clock. Given we haven't placed yet. We're this close to having a place. We'll announce that when we get there. You may be here though.
I can call them right now, put them on the spot.
Right now. You do that. You call them and tell them to talk about it right now. At 5:30 there will be a presentation. And the presentation is going to be under the theme, Murrieta, the future of Southern California. And everybody's going to walk into that room going, that's pretty audacious. And they're going to ask the question, why Murrieta? By the time the presentation is done, if we've done our job, you'll all walk out of that room saying, yeah, Murrieta. You're going to understand what we take for granted and how important that is and why that means we have every opportunity to be in the future of Southern California. And the 6:30 will be a mixer. I don't know if it'll be a mega mixer or a mixer, but there'll be a mixer for the chamber. Now here's where the partnership happens. The chamber is working with the city. We're working together to make this thing happen. It's a very, very, very big deal. And we're also working into it the mixers and those other concepts so the chamber can use it as a fundraiser as well. It also shows a united front to the business communities to become all of Southern California of how the city and the chamber do work together. And so we're talking about being serious about partnering with the chamber. We're absolutely serious about partnering with the chamber. Your opportunities that we're creating there is world-class networking, chamber fundraiser, and potential for new customers. And then finally it says, let's become the model of cityhood and inspire the state. I like that. That's actually what I want. All of you with the success for all of us, we want to make sure everybody plays nice. We'll do everything we can to get out of the way. We'll provide as many extra business services as we can to help you out. But you own your own business. Own your business. Work hard at it like you do. No excuses. Just own that business. Take responsibility with that profit and loss and let us help you in that process. And I will tell you this in conclusion. And Kay already used this phrase, and I don't know if she saw my notes or why. You are in the right place at the right time. You keep at it. Because there will come a day, not too far in the future, where there'll be other new businesses that probably be your customers, because we brought them here, who will look at you and say, oh my God, I wish I had been here when you were in the ground floor. Because that's where you are. And I have ever believed that if we partner together as a city, as a chamber, we'll be able to partner together for that success. We have, I believe, the beginning of a very positive era between that relationship. Very excited about that. We waited a long time for it. And I believe that from now on, when it comes to our partnership as a city and the chamber and the success of the city of Murrieta, we're going to look at 2012 as the year it really got started. Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Thank you so much, Doug. Appreciate that. Good news. I think we all